Garver, Adolis Garcia, each going deep for Texas. The road team has won every game so far, and Game 7 will be Monday night on Fox. Sunday Night Football, the Eagles with a resounding 31-17 win over the Dolphins as A.J. Brown had 10 catches, 137 yards, and a touchdown. The Eagles moved to a league-best 6-1, while the Dolphins fall to 5-2. Ravens with a blowout win against the Lions 38-6. They snapped Detroit's 5-game winning streak. Baltimore scoring a touchdown in each of their first 4 possessions. Lamar Jackson with 4 touchdowns on the day, 3 through the air to go along with 357 passing yards. Patriots upset the Bills 29-25. The 300th career win for head coach Bill Belichick. He's the third coach in NFL history to reach that mark.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And that, I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take it. biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome to the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9 on 12:30 a.m. WTBC on your radio dial. Also live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We're live, local, and ready to get things going. Share and like the live stream. Follow at the Martin Houston 35 and Martin Houston 35 fan page on Facebook and Martin Houston 35 on YouTube and Twitter. And you can also catch us on MaX Sports and on Facebook. So lots of ways to get in on the conversation. You're always welcome into the program to call us on the Alabama One hotline at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline, or send your comments, your reactions, your questions, your thoughts into the program, and we'll work them into the conversation. As we open up the playbook, excuse me, we will look at the following conversations that you're welcome to get in on. First and foremost, we'll talk good, bad, and ugly. We'll talk turning points. We'll talk key takeaways. We'll give grades. That'll be kind of the conversation for the week. And in the second quarter, we'll add Kenningston Smith III of The Athletic to the conversation. So you're welcome to get in on it right now. So please go ahead and get that phone up to your ear, or get those fingers on the keypad, as Alabama took down the Tennessee Vols 34-20. 34-20. Robert of Mobile nailing it, almost nailing it. He had to score 35-20. Robert in week 8. 35-20, Robert of Mobile. I had 31-20. In that first half, I was worried about my Tennessee score, but was able. That defense came back and definitely took care of business in the second half. And we'll be talking about this team and this Alabama football team. But let's bring X in to the conversation. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, doing well. I was a little worried that Tennessee and Alabama were going to flip on my score.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if we were going to get to 20. I didn't know if we were going to get to 20 where we were playing, but before we get too deep into it, remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Definitely not what you want to see. Um, I had someone send me a message, X, and they said, did we just watch the worst half of Alabama football in a long time and then the best half of Alabama football in a long time?
Yeah, that can easily be said. Yes, that first half was hard to watch in every way, shape, form, or fashion. But then that second half was a thing of beauty. It really was.
Yeah. So absolutely hard to believe. Alabama did finally get back into the top 10, popping in at number 9. This team is Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Unfortunately, we heard some audio from Saban, and we'll hear that throughout the week. My concern, X, is I'm not sure we can beat LSU with that performance. I'm not sure that LSU wouldn't have had 35 points at halftime.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean the first half performance, man, it was I don't even know how you describe it, honestly. They showed the statistics on how this was some of the worst things that you've seen from Alabama since Coach Saban got here, essentially 2007, 2008. And all of those things were true in the first half. I mean, Alabama has yet to play a full game this season. When you stop and look at it, you look at great first half against Arkansas, horrible second half. Then you reverse it this week. It was an okay first half against Texas A&M. Great second half against Texas A&M. It's just these little things that Alabama has to do to make it a complete game, and they just, for some reason, can't at this point.
Yeah, and there's one thing that really concerns me that has been consistent in the last 2 games, and LSU would do it from start to finish, and we have not had an answer for it, and that is the legs of the quarterback. When KJ Jefferson used his legs, he hurt us. When Milton used his legs, he hurt us. He didn't use his legs at all in the first half. Then he used his legs in the second half, but he didn't have the arm behind it. He didn't have the completions behind it. LSU has a lot more weapons, so we just have to. That's just one of the things we're going to have to be ready for, because the last 2 quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks, have shown that is a vulnerability of this awesome, unbelievable defense that we have. And when you have more weapons and you add that in, it could be dangerous. Let's get to Allen. Allen, you're in on the Alabama One hotline with Martin and Xavier on this post-Tennessee victory. Alabama did not let the streak start. They quickly righted the ship and got it back on the good guys' side with the 34-20 win over Tennessee. What you got for us?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm gonna need Xavier's help on this a little bit. But first thing is, we've got to learn these guys. Our center has got to learn to snap the ball when he's supposed to. He's killing us. And that's going to hurt us in the long run down the road if he doesn't learn that. I don't know, especially when you're at home. It can't be the noise. That's just something I think he's not paying attention. They're not on the same page, and that's going to hurt us in the long run.
Yeah, I can't explain it. I mean, this guy's like veteran. His whole entire reason of why he was deemed the better guy was his mental ability above and beyond his athletic ability. was superior, supposedly, to Dalcourt. But those snap infractions, he has more snap infractions this year than I think the center position has had that I can remember if you add all of them up together. I mean, and here's the interesting part, guys. They don't call it on him every time. He moves that ball a lot. If the defense were to start moving every time he does it, we'd have even more penalties of snap infractions. In my opinion, watch him when he gets the ball. You get the first time to get the ball up off the ground and get it set, but then, and I think because he was snapping it low and stuff, they did change the way he snaps the ball, so we don't have as many bad snaps. But now he's moving the ball around, and I'm surprised we don't get even more, Alan.
But it's my last thing, Xavier. I need you to take one for the team right here. I've talked to Cohen down there in Miami, and this is what happened. He told me he would come back to Alabama, but I told him, I said, I'll work a deal out with you. I'll work an NIL deal out with you. You will get the inheritance of Houston. Martin Houston will leave the inheritance of his kids if you come back for an NIL deal. But I understand that it'll be up to Xavier and his siblings to give this up. Xavier, I need y'all to give it up for the team. I need y'all to just do it. Just take one for the team just to get him back. We need you, brother. Just please help us out right here.
Oh man. I'll let the younger. I got 3 younger siblings. I don't know if they gonna be down for that.
Yeah.
Well, I tried.
Yeah. Hey, Alan, we're going to have to do something. Well, when we helped the center out, it worked. I mean, the tackle out, it worked. Then we figured, okay, let's not help him out. We used the absolute worst times to not help him out. I mean, but he did the exact same thing again. He got beat to the outside when he had inside help. Him and Booker double teamed the guy that Booker was one-on-one with while his guy hit what's his name in the back? We got to get the break, but thanks, Alan. Yeah, appreciate you, man. Coming back on the other side, we'll keep the conversation going. We got Robert from Mobile. This week's score prediction winner with a 35-20 prediction. He will definitely take home this week's prize as he gets entered into the grand prize that will be given away at the conclusion of the season. So we'll get him coming out of the break. We're getting some comments on the good, bad, and ugly. Oh, my goodness. The Kool-Aid needs to be stirred up. What's going on with Kool-Aid? We'll talk about it. That and more right here on the Martin Houston Show. Don't forget to go check out Taco Casa. Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value on the biggest cactus in town. 6 locations in Tuscaloosa, 1 up in Birmingham off of Lakeshore Drive. They are your choice for your lunch and dinner needs. If you're looking for a great place, it's going to give you great food, great value, great price. It's going to be Taco Casa, tacocasa.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Things pretty quiet on the roadways on this Monday morning. Apparently, we survived another Tennessee weekend. If you see conditions throughout the day that folks need to hear about, just give me a call, 205-886-8886. These are some super deals from Townsend Nissan, 2468 up to $10,000 off select Nissans. Go see them. They're your friends in the car business. And I'm Captain Ray.
Hi, I'm Marty Lyons. When I come to Taco Casa, I always order the 2 and 2. 2 Sanchos, 2 enchiladas.
And I'm Wilkin Forby. And when I come to Taco Casa, I always order the Fantastic Four. 4 Sanchos, 4 enchiladas, 4 tacos, and 4 burritos.
Taco Casa is always made with the finest ingredients and made fresh when you order. So whatever the size of your appetite,
there's always something delicious waiting for you here at Taco Casa.
Taco Casa, under the biggest cactus in town.
She's running around. Her breath doesn't smell. Her digestive system is perfect. It has made such a huge difference.
What did this dog parent do for their dog? She switched to Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food made by Dr. Marty Goldstein, a veterinarian Forbes magazine called the Miracle Worker. It's the easiest way to support your dog's easy digestion, nourished skin, playful energy, and most importantly, their healthy, full life.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free full-sized bag of Tilly's Treasures dog treats. They're best-selling beef liver dog treats while supplies last. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or shop in over 2,000 stores nationwide. Use the store locator to find the store closest to you. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather stays dry this week. The sky partly to mostly sunny today, the high 79. Tonight, mostly fair with the low at 57. And for tomorrow and Wednesday, lots of sunshine both days. Afternoon highs between 78 and 81. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 54 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Tide 100.9 and Local Bank are proud to present Hometown Heroes. Each month, we'll take nominations for local heroes from law enforcement, firefighters, educators, and medical professionals. Our Hometown Heroes will be featured on the Tide 100.9 website. Log online to Tide109.com and nominate a Hometown Hero today. Winners will receive lunch at Texas Roadhouse. Local Bank is a proud sponsor of Hometown Heroes. Local Bank puts customers first. Local people, local decisions. Local Bank, 1635 McFarland Boulevard, Tuscaloosa, and online at mylocal.bank. Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Well, it's great the way we played in the second half, but, you could make an argument that we weren't a finished product in the first half, really on either side of the ball. So, but I do think the resiliency that the players sort of show, their ability to overcome adversity, them scoring like right at the end of the half, us having an opportunity to score and turning it over, and then they go down the field and they score right before the half. So it was a big swing. From a momentum standpoint. So it takes a lot of resiliency, a lot of perseverance from those players to bounce back from that, because it was a horrible way to end the first half. And they did a fantastic job of it. And I can't say enough about the competitive spirit that they have when they need to have it.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We're live, local, and streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. That was Coach Nick Saban talking about this team. Excuse me. And the way this team plays says about this team. We'll get some reaction to that. We have Kenningston Smith III of The Athletic joining Xavier and I. Good morning, Kenningston. You're in on the Alabama One hotline. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Excuse me. So many things we can get to, but we have a caller that's been waiting patiently. Robert from Mobile. He won our prediction contest. He missed it by 1 point. He had 35-20 was his prediction. So he's in. Robert, you're in with Martin, Kenningston, and Xavier on the Alabama One hotline. What's on your mind, man?
Hey, guys. Hey, I saw what you did there with the stirring up the Kool-Aid comment. Of course, Xavier, and I don't know how old Kenningston is. He probably wouldn't know anything about that either. But when you were before back in the day, Kool-Aid was it.
That's right.
To stir it back up.
That's right. Absolutely.
It'd be great if we could stir that sugar back up again out of Kool-Aid. It's like, dude, you cannot let the ball keep hitting the ground. Woo. And we lost 15, 20 yards.
He cost us the equivalent of probably 10 first downs?
Something.
If you just look at the number of yards that they got on rolling after the ball hit the ground.
Yeah, and that last one, you were right under it. You had to move out of the way of the ball. So you were in the spot, but you just didn't feel right, or what was it? I don't know.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw this. In the first one, the the first one where we had them backed up, and the punter gets credit for a 71-yard punt, and the ball rolled, I think, 26 yards. He went to the sideline and told Coach Saban he lost it in the sun or something. You could read his lips. That's what he said. I lost it. On that one that he said he couldn't. He literally got out of the way. But I started saying it about 3 games ago. He has lost his confidence. He had a couple games in a row. Kenny, and I'll let you respond, where he bobbled snaps, and it's been trending down ever since. And if you have on this team, if you don't have anybody else that can catch punt, forget returning punt. He is now into the negative. Forget if you never gain another yard on another punt this year, he cannot be the guy that's returning punts unless something changes. And I don't know how you gauge that until you give somebody else a chance to do that. Kenningston, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Kool-Aid's lost confidence in terms of returning punts for a while. I mean, I think it could even go back, to the first game. That big hit that he took against Middle Tennessee, it's been kind of a downhill trajectory from there. Took that big hit against Middle Tennessee. There have been several muffed punts along the way in the weeks afterwards, and now he's not even returning the kicks anymore. So I agree with you. I mean, even if you're not going to have a playmaker back there, just somebody who can return, who can just catch it and put you in good position. I think about Clemson several years ago when Hunter Renfrow was their punt returner, and he's not a dynamic option back there with the ball in his hands, but you knew that he was going to catch the ball and they were going to start at that point. They weren't going to go backwards. And his Kool-Aid's putting the ball on the ground. I mean, that swung the game a few times. I'm thinking about in that fourth quarter when he lets it drop and that pins Alabama basically at the 1-yard line. I believe they go 3 and out. They punt the ball. Tennessee has really good field position down a few possessions. So his decisions are potentially game altering.
Well, you know what my biggest fear was?
Had that happened at a different point in the game, that could have maybe shifted some things in a different way. So I think this bye week is coming at a good time for the coaching staff to evaluate what they're doing at that position, and I would expect for there to be a competition reopening there at that spot.
Yeah, when that ball hit at the 1, in my head I said, "Oh, I saw bad snap, turnover, 2 points or safety. Or touchdown." That was my first thought. Then Tennessee comes down, scores, goes for 2 to win. Now that all went through my head, but I was thinking that he was going to turn the game before that happened, and I've been thinking that for several weeks. And here's my concern, Robert, and I'll let you say whatever you got to go, what you want to before I let you go. But here's my concern, Robert. Yeah, we're winning, but is this team good enough to win a national championship? The good team is, but this team and this coaching staff is too inconsistent. Yes, we've won 7 out of 8 games. Yes, we look like the potentially the best team in the country with a 27-0 second half. But we look like the 125th team in the first half. I mean, you won't see like LSU is who LSU is. The difference between Alabama and LSU is who they are. They don't have a good defense, and they have a 40+ team in offense. Okay, that's who they are. They have not shown anything different. They haven't shown that, we might be a good defense and we might be a bad offense. They've not shown that. They have shown pretty much all year, this is our identity. We are a really, really explosive offense and an average defense at best. But we're going to play. Go ahead, Robert.
Okay. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I saw it on some Twitter post or whatever. that with Miro and I forgot who else was holding the Lank jersey up, let all the naysayers know. And it's the naysayers are naysayers because, like you said, if you show some consistency, you won't have any naysayers. It's the inconsistency that makes us doubt in anything. If you're not consistent in anything in life, people are going to doubt you. Duh, that's how it goes.
That's what doubt is.
Yeah, exactly. It's because you're not consistent. It wouldn't be any doubt if you were consistent. So, yeah, it's up to them whether or not, people stop doubting. Well, this over this season, we're going to doubt for the rest of the season. But yeah, there are no great teams out there this year, so that's working in our favor. There's no team that the good Alabama team can't beat. Like you said, Jekyll and Hyde team we got this season, there's no team the good Alabama can't beat. In fact, the good Alabama can beat everybody sound.
Right.
We need the identity of this team needs to be the 2016 model. Unfortunately, we don't have Lane Kiffin to run that 2016 model for us. But if we had that, if Lane Kiffin was our coordinator, this is a different season. I'm convinced of that now.
Yes.
I think I rewatched him against Tennessee and Alabama, the 2016 game. Jalen Hurts' freshman year, like night and day different. Play calling, night and day different. Yeah. Jalen Hurts didn't light the world up with his passing, but he combined it with his legs and his arm and blew him away. And that can be done if the coordinator wants to do it.
Yeah. You got anything else? And congratulations on the win.
Oh, thanks, man.
All right.
That was good. Catch you later.
Appreciate it. Kennington, your thoughts, on just this team and the inconsistency of, are we going to end up at the end of this year with the same message, or can this bye week potentially be what gets this team shored up in their lulls so that the dips aren't so deep?
Yeah, I think that this bye week can help, but I think through 8 weeks, I think Alabama has shown who they are. To what you were talking about with LSU, I think that Alabama has shown that they're a roller coaster, and I think that's what's going to persist for the rest of the way. Maybe the peaks and valleys won't be as drastic, but I think that there's going to be highs and lows the rest of the way. And what you're hoping for, obviously, is that they come out of this bye week and that they're kind of like that well-oiled machine and they carry over this momentum, because you are right. There have been Jekyll and Hyde. Every single game, it feels like a tale of two halves. Good first half, bad second half. Bad first half, good second half. Bad first quarter, good third quarter. Whatever the case may be, they can't string together a wire-to-wire performance. And I'm not sure that we're going to see that Alabama the rest of the way. The good thing, or the encouraging thing, if you're a fan, is that, first of all, if you look across the country, there's really no team playing and hitting on all cylinders except for Michigan, who has not played a team that's been ranked yet through 7-8 weeks. So they have looked dominant, but they haven't played anybody either. They will as the season persists. But everybody else in the top 10 has had stinkers and they've had clunkers. I mean, this past weekend was a great example of that. North Carolina goes down, USC goes down, Oklahoma, Texas. I'm forgetting another team in the top 10. Washington. They all barely survived in one-score games. So every team is kind of going through the same thing. I think, there's something to be said about Bama continuing to find ways to win in a good, not great field. And the last thing, with the offensive coordinators discussion, Tommy Rees, I felt like had a really good second half. And the fact that he implemented a lot of designed quarterback runs or zone read opportunities for Jalen Milroe in the second half kind of broke that running game open and helped kind of break the game open offensively. So you're encouraged by the fact that it looks like he's starting to become aligned with what Milroe's skill set is. And that's probably what I'm looking to in the bye week is, one, can Alabama get better early scripted plays offensively, because the offense is anemic out of the gate consistently. Probably the worst or one of the worst first quarter offenses in the country. And can him and Milroe get on one accord in terms of the design quarterback runs and make that a regular fixture in the offense?
We'll talk about it. Is the Alabama Crimson Tide as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde as it appears, or is it only a couple pieces? X, I want you to respond coming back out of the break. Is it as big a problem as we think, or is the fix already in? We'll talk about it right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We got Kenningston Smith, the third of The Athletic, at Skinny Kenny _ on the X.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Things pretty quiet on the roadways on this Monday morning. Apparently, we survived another Tennessee weekend. If you see conditions throughout the day that folks need to hear about, just give me a call, 205-886-8886. These are some super deals from Townsend Nissan, 2, 4, 6, 8, up to $10,000 off select Nissans. Go see them. They're your friends in the car business. And I'm Captain Ray.
Looking for a place to watch Crimson Tide football? Druid City Music Hall will host a Bama Game Day watch party for each home game this season. No cover and everyone is welcome. You can watch the home games on a giant 18-foot LED board while in the cool AC. 95.3 The Bear and Tide 100.9's own DC and former Alabama great Christian Miller will be on hand. Doors open 3 hours before game time, so stop by and say hello and grab your spot to watch the game. That's every home game Saturday at Druid City Music Hall on the Strip. For more information, go to druidcitymusichall.com.
Discover, this is Danny.
Hi, it's Jen Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great. But with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Are you hungry? Because everyone left after the asparagus sorbet.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we carry all the gear you need from the top brands, all at prices you'll love. And now, shopping at Academy is more convenient than ever. We offer free assembly on in-store purchases of most bikes and grills, plus free and easy curbside pickup on academy.com orders. Want to save even more every day? Open and use an Academy Sports and Outdoors credit card to get 5% off future purchases when you're approved. Save time and money at Academy Sports and Outdoors, and have fun out there.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And did we mention it's aluminum free? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 500 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 500. LUME deodorant.com, code 500 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LUME deodorant.com, code 500.
The pandemic is over, but COVID-19 is here to stay. In fact, it's still among the top 5 leading causes of death in the U.S., just after heart disease and cancer. So this fall, stay up to date with the latest COVID-19 vaccines, just like you do with the flu, because you've got no time for 19. The vaccine may not be for everyone. Please consult with your doctor. Brought to you by Moderna.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
No, I really think, offensively, the shot that we took was a planned play, the touchdown, start the second half. I don't think we ran a lot of different plays. I think we did a much better job of executing those plays. And, we had a couple others that if we just finished blocks would have been even more productive. So, but I thought Jason McClellan really ran hard in the game. The guy's been beat up a little bit, but he's one of the toughest guys on our team. And certainly a great competitor the way he competed out there tonight.
Okay, a couple things. First of all, I'm gonna let you respond, X. I'm gonna let you respond, Kenningston. But Nick Saban, come on now. You didn't watch same first half and second half I did if you don't think you ran different plays in the second half than you did in the first half. Let's just go and throw that out there. But before we do that, I have to point this out, and I just sometimes the football gods line up for my commentary, X. We have a young man playing quarterback for us who is getting worse treatment than Jalen Hurts did from his OC. Okay. And what I mean by that is Jalen Hurts' OC was all in talking about Lane Kiffin behind him. Jalen Milroe, I don't think people understand how good a quarterback this young man could be. This young man has been sacked 3,400,000 times. I mean, I don't even know if that's a number, but he has been sacked so many times. And probably 33% of his sacks or more have been unblocked guys running wide open, hitting him in the back. I'm talking about just drilling him. When he is given time, he is money. I don't think people realize that. When he is given time, he makes a read, he hits the right guy, he throws it and delivers it on time. When he get rushed a little bit, his balls sail high. Or after he's been hit really hard, he starts delivering the ball high. I don't know if anybody's noticed that. When he gets hit, he starts delivering the ball high. Last night, we watched one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league go against a guy that people said never will play quarterback in the NFL. Tua Tagovailoa is one of the most naturally gifted quarterbacks ever. When you start getting compared to guys like Joe Montana and Dan Marino because of your release, your footwork, your accuracy, and all of that, you're the man. But when you get outdueled by the guy who couldn't play the position because the other coach knows how to build an offense around him, it shows you what Alabama could be last night. If we went all in, X, with Jalen Milroe, the way the Eagles have gone all in with Jalen Hurts, Alabama would be unstoppable because the Eagles' defense and Alabama's defense similar. Playmakers, similar. Running game, similar. Quarterback build, similar. The only difference between Alabama and the Eagles right now, and I believe this is the only problem that Alabama has, and so I don't believe that we have to be inconsistent all year. We have one person we need to fix on this team. That's the offensive coordinator. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. And it's kind of frustrating when you see us play teams that have similar quarterbacks to what we have, and you see how those quarterbacks are used. And the last 2 weeks are prime examples. Even though Alabama still won the game, you see what Joe Milton is, you see what KJ Jefferson is, and you go, why can't Alabama use Milroe in that similar fashion with the better complement of weapons and at the wide receiver position and the running back position? And it just makes you go, why won't they do it?
Yeah. Kenningston, is it as far from consistency? Because I think our defense sometimes, like we gave up 20 points in that first half, but the reality of it is in the last 5 years, if we didn't have the defense that we have this year, it would have been 35-7.
Yeah, I mean,
even though it was 20, that defense still balled out in the first half.
Oh, absolutely. The fact that Tennessee went to the red zone 4 times and came away with 13 points lets you know everything, honestly. I mean, the defense did bend in some moments, but I think Tennessee, the way that they came out with their game plan, I mean, they just came out attacking the perimeter. They threw the ball much more than they have in games past. And Joe Milton had way better touch on the ball than he's had in past weeks. And they did catch Alabama on that first drive. And after that, they did continue to drive a little bit. But mostly it was Alabama's defense kind of getting put into some unfortunate situations and standing on its head and forcing them to consistently kick field goals. And at the end of the game, when Tennessee got into the red zone, they came away with 0 points on that drive. So I thought the defense played really well. On the Tommy Rees point, I agree that there is still a reluctance to go all in. Another team in the NFL that I would liken this to is the Ravens, and how they completely just changed their organization philosophy behind Lamar Jackson when they drafted him, shifting from Joe Flacco to him, and kind of how they just invested their identity into his skill set and what their offense has kind of evolved, year over year. I think with Reese, I saw the glimpses of it in the second half again, the amount of design runs that Milroe had in the second half, and then, having some opportunities to pass the ball as well off of that. That was the blueprint of what Alabama's offense could look like. So,
And that's
I guess I'm really just kind of hoping that they get on that accord over the bye week and come out in the second half of the season looking like the offense that we know it could be.
And Kenningston, that's why I say, are we really just one person from being consistent? Because the second half is the one half this year. Even though we've had Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, we still hadn't had that half. That is the first half of football where defense was doing their thing that they've done almost every second half, with the exception of those few minutes against Texas and those few minutes against Arkansas. Those like fourth quarter against Texas and that little 15-minute window against Arkansas. Defense has been like this all year. This is the first time when defense was doing their thing that we ran a dual threat, throw it over the top, run outside, quarterback read, all of those things. That's the first time that happened at the same time. And we beat a top 20 team 27. I want everybody to hear that. 27-0 in the second half. Not beat them by 20. We beat them 27-0 in the second half. So, and Virgil pointed out that they dropped a couple passes in that first half. They did, but they also made some unbelievable catches in the first half. If you give the guy Milton threw, he had more complete touches and passes in that first half than he normally would anyway. So I kind of give that. I agree that they did drop a couple passes, but Milton also probably threw some dimes that if we replayed that game, he wouldn't hit. That first touchdown pass, he looked like the Heisman Trophy. First touchdown drive looked like the Heisman Trophy winner. But kudos to the defense for not giving up, even though they did. We got a couple breaks there. Hey, let's quickly get to George and Macon, and then we'll get the break and get some thoughts from Kenningston on his good, bad, and ugly, and a couple other things as we move throughout. George, you're in on the Alabama One hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. Concerning Jalen Milroe, he has got to be the toughest quarterback I have ever seen.
He has to be.
If you go back years and years ago, which I do, Al Davis said to stop the quarterback, you got to put him down, and you got to put him down hard. He has been sacked 34 times, and probably 27 of those have been clean shots. Shots where you don't get up. And that's what really scares me, is because we got nothing behind him. He's done a fantastic job. And any other quarterback, the second they drop back, they'd be having a swivel. Their head would be on a swivel looking for when the next shot's coming. And he doesn't. He stands in there and does a fantastic job. Another thing, I know everybody wants him to run, but if he runs and he gets up and starts limping, my goodness gracious, I'm going to have a coronary, because we got nothing behind him. Now, as far as consistency, first off, Tennessee was better than I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to be good, but they played extremely well. that first 2 or 3 minutes, I was scared to death, and the only thing that gave me hope was we held them to field goals.
Yeah.
The defense did play fantastic, and I do think for one or two offensive linemen from having consistency on the offense, it's hard. I mean, if you look at when we would snap the ball, the line of scrimmage was back a couple of feet instead of forward a couple of feet many times, and that's not good.
Yeah.
And I will say this: the blocking on the offensive line got better the second half, but I really don't understand why we have such a problem on the left side.
We refuse to help.
I was ready to string him up. Go ahead. I was ready to string him up after the first half, but he did. Some of his play calling did get better, and we played a fantastic game.
Thanks, George.
Like I stated before, nobody is. Go ahead. I'm
gonna have to get the break. I was gonna let you finish up. I was getting ready to
Okay, well, my finishing up is nobody, like you have stated, is really playing consistently top-notch ball, 60 minutes a game. And I listen to your comments, what I have to say, and what you think your thoughts are. And thank you for taking my
Thanks,
call.
George. George, you hit it with a lot there. We'll respond on the other side. Thanks. Coming back on the other side, we'll wrap up this edition of the Martin Houston Show.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Things pretty quiet on the roadways on this Monday morning. We survived another Tennessee weekend. City conditions throughout the day that folks need to hear about. Just give me a call, 205-886-8886. These are some super deals from Townsend Nissan, 2, 4, 6, 8, up to $10,000 off select Nissans. Go see them. They're your friends in the car business. And I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Monday morning. The Tuscaloosa Police Department and the Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Office Violent Crimes Unit investigating a double shooting that left a teenager and an adult male injured. Police responded to reports of a shooting around 6:30 p.m. Saturday in the 3100 block of 21st Street. Officers said a 14-year-old boy and a 45-year-old man were shot. Their conditions are not known at this time. The investigation continues. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more. Don Hartley, Tuscaloosa Media, Tuscaloosa.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Monday edition of The Game, we're going to recap the third Saturday of October, Alabama, Tennessee, the good, the bad, and the ugly, presented by Daniel Moore. We'll have a chance to talk with Martin Houston. We'll have a chance to talk with Barrett Salee and Drew DeArmond here on The Game on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports program in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Tide 100.9 and Local Bank are proud to present Hometown Heroes. Each month, we'll take nominations for local heroes from law enforcement, firefighters, educators, and medical professionals. Our Hometown Heroes will be featured on the Tide 100.9 website. Log online to Tide109.com and nominate a Hometown Hero today. Winners will receive lunch at Texas Roadhouse. Local Bank is a proud sponsor of Hometown Heroes. Local Bank puts customers first. Local people, local decisions. Local Bank, 1635 McFarland Boulevard, Tuscaloosa, and online at mylocal.bank.
Klein tools are new at Lowe's, pros. Lowe's knows you want top brands and quality products, and Klein Tools delivers. Right now, get the Klein 3-piece ModBox mobile workstation for $319.94 and the Klein 5-piece cushion grip screwdriver set for just $34.97, both exclusively at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools, the highest quality tool brand at Lowe's. Because Lowe's knows tools, Lowe's knows pros.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up AutoSave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
AutoSave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We have Kenningston Smith the third. You're listening to Tide 109 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. George hit a lot of good points there, but a couple thoughts coming in. Otis Hill said our offense coordinator has got Miro off too. I agree with that. Miro doesn't even look like the same guy. He doesn't take off. He had one time where he could have probably split the field and he would have been gone with that speed at the beginning of the season. He had one time when he ran it outside, he could have just took one step to the right and split him. He doesn't look like the same guy. And it kind of reminded me, I said, man, that looked like Jalen now in the pros. Jalen will just slide. And of course, Jalen got $250 million on the line. So I figured that's why he's sliding. But Jalen hurts. But, it's an interesting thing to watch there. So, but anyway, George from Macon hit a lot of good things, X, but you said you had something you wanted to ask Kenningston.
Yeah, so Kenningston, this is your third Saturday in October, really covering Alabama. What were your thoughts, just like the atmosphere of the game, and what did it live up to the hype and expectations for you?
Yeah, it definitely did. Just throughout the week, just kind of seeing how much the rivalry meant. And when you're not within the nucleus of Alabama media or the fan base, same with Tennessee, you don't really quite grasp how big the game is. And just like the clips that I've seen on Twitter, I think, Nick Saban said something during his radio show that stuck out to me was the names on, he said something to the effect of the names on the stadiums of the two schools are the ones that made this rivalry great. And that kind of put into perspective how big the game was. And then the atmosphere was amazing. I mean, Brian Denny was rocking. Everybody from Saban to the players were talking about how great the atmosphere was. And I was on the field with about 5 minutes to go, and you could literally smell the cigar smoke like on the field. It was apparent. You could see a little haze, but you could definitely smell it. You look in the crowd, and you got men, women, whoever, everybody's lighting cigars, and there's really nothing like that I've experienced in college sports.
Right.
It was dope. It was dope, honestly, and that going into LSU, which I understand is another huge game, and what's going to be a crazy atmosphere as well. That's a good back-to-back for the home schedule. So Tennessee was dope. I'm expecting the same thing from LSU.
Yeah, the smoke haze was obvious on the TV. I always love it. The smoke haze at the Alabama Tennessee game and the noisemakers at Mississippi State, which are both violations, except for that day. It's just okay to break the rules on that day. But Kenningston, what's your biggest? Kenningston is going to join Xavier on Thursday, so we'll get some of his thoughts on a couple other things. But I'll go ahead and get your good, bad, and ugly. We got a couple of people throwing out the fact that Alabama only had one penalty. Milroe's play was good. OC play calling was bad, and the ugly is the officials missing the targeting on Roydell. Second half punt was good. Bama punts returns were bad, and ugly was the first half. What was your good, bad, and ugly for this game?
Yeah, I would say good was the amount of chipping that they did on Caden Proctor's side. There was a tight end over 30 times on his hip. The one play that sticks out was when C.J. Dupree just like stonewalls James Pierce on the Isaiah Bond touchdown. Yes. Huge chip, huge play in the game. Finally, Tommy Rees, that we've been talking about that for the entire season, it feels like, and there have been spurts where that's happened. But this was the first game where there was a true commitment to a tight end on Caden Proctor.
They need to do it every time, though. They need to do it every time. Right. Because the one time they didn't, right.
I agree.
The one time they didn't, he about got killed.
Right. So that was the good. I would say I think the bad and the ugly are kind of the same to me. I just think that Alabama's early scripted plays are just not effective enough. They started the game with a 3-and-out for the fourth consecutive week. They're averaging less than 2 points per first quarter. this team is just, for some reason, it just takes them a while to find some type of rhythm offensively out of the gate, and that's hurt them. In during this win streak several times. I mean, I think 5 of their 6 games during this winning streak, they faced a deficit at halftime, or or it's ended on a 1-score game. A lot of that is because of the slow start. So that's kind of the.
Let me ask you this real quick. Why do we refuse? Okay, if you're struggling, why do we refuse just to throw it deep? And if they intercept it, it's a punt. Why do we wait? You got 30 seconds on that. I mean, why do we wait?
Yeah, that's an interesting point too. It seems like it's always kind of like they either rely on the play action to set that up, or it has to be a 3rd and long before they look to Burton or Bond on a deep play. I agree with you. Why not just come out with it out of the bat? It's clearly a part of their identity, and it's really been the only consistent part of
It's the only consistent. It's the only thing we do consistently well. And most of the time, it's not off of play action or not a play that we ran. I mean, it's amazing. Right. Tell them where they can find you real quick, Kenningston.
Yeah, on Twitter /X at skinnykenny _ theathletics.com or The Athletic on mobile apps, Kenningston Smith III.
Hey, and as I said earlier, he's going to join Xavier on Thursday for a full run through, help co-host the show on Thursday. So he'll get some more good, bad, ugly. They'll probably talk a little SEC, etc. So looking forward to that. Thanks, Kenningston, man, and welcome to the family. 3rd Saturday in October in the books.
Yeah, appreciate it. I was a little worried that my clothes were going to smell like cigar smoke after the game, but they didn't, thankfully. And looking forward to many more great games in the future.
Absolutely. Hey, that's Kenningston Smith III of The Athletic, at Skinny Kenny _ on Twitter or the X. I'm Martin Houston. That's Xavier Houston. That's Noah Haynes behind the glass. You're listening to the Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. This is the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports. And remember this: trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. Roll Tide out there, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Things pretty quiet on the roadway.